Okay, so I've got everything set up. We'll be beginning in a few minutes, or a few moments rather. Thank you guys all for tuning in, if indeed you actually are, and I'm not just talking to myself. Okay, I think we're ready to roll. Here we go. Ooh, that's loud. Okay. Turn that down a whole lot. A little bit more. Go. There aren't any actual audio options in the alpha, so it's a little bit problematic trying to adjust things. So I deleted the save that came with the build, and yeah, we should be doing this just from the start. This is not the final game. Please do not go into this. Oh, I have to be right back for just a moment. Sorry about that. That was my brother knocking on my door. This is the alpha build of the game. It was released, I believe, either late 2013, early 2014, sometime around there. So obviously this is a fresh startup. I deleted the old save that was on here, so this should be fun. Before that though, let's take a look around at the all this stuff. Here we have just the this is what later becomes the HUD. And yeah, most of you guys already have this build. But this later becomes the, let's just say, HUD hub for the game. And if I recall correctly, there is some way of allowing myself to get around inside it. Oh, would you look at that? Huh. Alright, well I guess we'll have a look around in the hub area. As you can see, Hat Kid's obviously invisible, but you can hear her if you listen hard enough. This is something I remember was kind of weird when I tried this earlier. These guys have 4 eyes. Not supposed to be like that. Also, this is something not seen in the final game. The instead of what becomes a window, it's just a cute little face right there. Got some more outside areas over here. This is something that's used in Trainwreck of Science, I believe. Yeah, this is definitely from Trainwreck of Science. I'm actually surprised that the doors themselves work, because it should just be a backdrop. Let me think, what other rooms have we not looked at yet? Oh yeah, the upstairs area, of course. Nothing up here, just the nothingness of space. And now I'm trapped outside. Oh lord. Okay, Ghost. The Ghost command does not like to work. I'm not moving in the direction where I want to go. But if I can get myself back in bounds, I'll be fine. Here we go. Lovely. Move my cursor back on screen for a minute there. There's a dweller in here for some reason. Yeah, I can't go up there. Alright, I think it's about time we get right into it. Let's just start with Mafia Town. Now, a thing worth mentioning is that I don't think there's... I don't think there's any way of, Oh, that's gross. Ugh. There's no way of properly, what's the word I'm looking for? I can't remember what I was gonna say. Oh yeah, there's no way of opening, like, an inventory or anything. This is all there is to the, escape menu. Anyway, if you're listening to the music, you'll notice that this is, Michael Pascal's theme, rather. You can have a go if you think you're hard enough. I don't know what that means. Yeah, Conductor, I think they just plastered a couple of early characters in. So a couple of noticeable differences in here. The lighting is completely different because of all these fire things. There are also cockroaches that squish in a very disgusting way. I don't think those are in the final game. Over here, remember I was talking all about how there was a big flattened barrel that you could get on top of. Is Mafia Police in this build? I'm not sure. I know that they're in the beta. They are definitely in the beta. I'm just not certain if they're in this build or not. So let's see if they have anything else to say. Bill Mafia watched TV last night. Confusing silence owl says people can jump double in the air. I saw this makes Mafia uncomfortable with body. Must work out. Yep, so that's the name that they say. The later version of the game. Okay, this is different. In the earlier version, that's more of a metal-sounding noise. It sounds just like you're tapping a cowbell or something. I think that sounds a little bit better. Alright, so we're chasing Mustache Girl. Keep chasing her. Person's getting bullied. You can hear there's already a lot of differences to the prototype in this build. Okay, that's different in the final game. Like, not the words themselves, but the way she said them. So this must be an earlier recording.
Are you looking for your umbrella? I saw it land near the market area when you know, fell from the sky. Normally I would question how you managed to fall that far, but I'm in a bit of a hurry.
How's my day been so far? It's been alright. Right, in the earlier versions of Mafia Town, there were a lot of robots. There's a Mafia bot, there's a janitor bot, a shark robot, or something. I'm not sure what's been implemented in this build of the game. Anyway, let's just get to it. Already you can see the large piece of meat that you have to jump on has been replaced with a pallet. Got a concession mafia guy working in there. Alright, electroshock badge, or whatever these are called. Yeah, electro badge. I'm actually not sure what they do.
Follow me!
Okay, this spot, you can see there are some differences. In the first build of the game, there's a little scene where you press a button and you can get the other hat. Robots were made by Thor? That would make sense.
Hey, your umbrella landed right over there. I have some stuff to take care of. I've got to run, but it was good to finally meet someone who isn't a big dumb brute. Maybe we can
Lovely.
make some mafia buildings later or something? Yeah? Yeah, that sounds fun. See you around.
Already you can tell there's a lot of differences in the character of Mustache Girl than in the final version of the game. She seemed a lot less Mustache Girl-y at this point in time. Anyway, obviously, going up here and collecting the umbrella, you don't get attacked by him the Theo of time. You just get your umbrella back. These aren't my explosives. Lovely. So in later versions of the game, at least in the beta, you need to have Thor's hat collected to do jump attacks. Oh, okay, this is something nice. Already in this build of the game, you don't get stuck in the water. That's so much nicer. You can see the original Mafia with their smaller eyes. The way Hatkid controls is about the same at this point in time. But, already there's some differences in the gameplay itself, like I said, the water. Just know you can see Tim's friend Seaside Spaghetti. I did know that in the prototype. I'm not sure if it's still like that in the alpha, though. Alright, so first version, this happens because you have to jump on someone's head to get your umbrella back. This version, already it's been replaced with a barrel fight.
Hey, child, shoo! Mafia can't have child witness when Mafia teaching lesson.
This is about the same to the final version of the game.
This awkward for Mafia. Mafia not sure what to do. Boss, what do we do with
It's
our
funnier
witness?
just because there's no sounds happening when that happens.
Teach her lesson, boys.
Okay, that's something not seen in the final version of the game.
Why, you little... I'm gonna take you down.
And since this version has some voice acting, if you view Mafia Town the editor, you'll see ghost stuff. Really?
Aha! I'm so confused. No child will be in the way of Mafia.
I'm guessing by ghosts they probably mean stuff like Tim's friend and maybe a little bit of the cut tutorial information. So yeah, probably mostly Tim's friend. Chairs and boats? Spooky chairs and boats? Well, maybe I'll have a look at that, or have somebody else have a look at that at some point. Ow. So this is the earlier version of the alpha build. There's a later version where the health bar is different, and you only have 4 things of health instead of, what's the final one, 7? Yeah, 7. There's a later version that only has 4, and we do not have that one. At least I don't.
You can jump.
On a roll. Oh, man. There we go. Lovely. Yeah. Welcome to Mafia Town really showed more off the, just like the starting stuff. Okay, this is something that's not seen in the final game, and if you're watching my prototype build, what was it, yesterday? 2 days ago that I did it? You may have seen a couple of these too. Mafia ties. Not sure what they're going to be used for, but who knows. Alright, this build of the game does not close when you collect a timepiece, so I'll just go ahead and take this one. Notice that there's no music playing right now. Yes, this is before, what was it called? A New Friend in Mafia Town was the name of the track? Guess that was before this was added. Hear bird noises in the background. Yeah, I'll go check Seaside Spaghetti. Obviously, there's a lot more to, what's it called? Harbor? No. And I'll just go and load up the, files. Go check the files, rather. By the way, this build was, given to me by Miss Switch from the Discord. Miss Switch has the alpha build, the beta build, and the speedrun build. I don't have the speedrun build. I could ask her for it, but for the time being, I'm fine with what I have. Eventually, I will probably ask for it. Also, obviously, as of a couple of days ago, we all have a prototype build too. Let's see, what's the name of the map? I just want to know for later because it'll be easier to just open it up through the console and have to go through all the other stuff. Name of the map is Mafia_Town. It's in a folder called Harbor. Explains it. Oh, that's interesting. Alright. Bizarre. That started me off there. Maybe I'll just start it from up, and a fatal error occurred. Lovely, a game crashed. Well, that can be expected with such an early build. Hopefully that doesn't mess things up. I'm actually not sure how to open up the earlier builds in the editor. Okay, no act attached. That's what I'm looking for. I think it just spawned me in the first one. Oh there. Welcome to the stream. Okay, it just started me off in Act 1 again. If returning to the main menu always crashes. Oh, it worked that time. Wonder why that is. We're gonna take a look at Mafia Town, then we're gonna go to Queen Vanessa's Manor. Because obviously, a lot of my stuff, at least my betafied stuff, has always been about, this is something I don't remember seeing before. Look, this is... Talk to me, what is this? Come one, come all. Shoot Mafia cutouts and win prize. God wants to play? Yes, I do. Oh, these are all reversed, too. I don't ever remember seeing this. New to me. What's going on over here? I guess I haven't actually looked at this, this build that much. Not disturb. Boss holds a live performance in headquarters. We training for boss. Lovely. Joffrey. Huh. Dude. Ah, not available in the build. There's gonna be a gun. Are you sure about that? You sure we're gonna give Hat Kid a gun? Anyway, if I recall correctly, I can actually load up the Heating Up Mafia Town prototype in this build too. I think it'll probably play pretty much the same as the other version of the prototype. Hey, I punch a barrel dressed as old lady. It makes people scared of Mafia. Life of Mafia is good. Probably. Oh my god. Punched me all the way to the other side of the street. Ow. There's a little bit of auto attacking, like there's auto aim, which is probably something reminiscent. Ooh. Cool. The original build of the game, or the original concept for Hat in Time, was oh yeah, Seaside Spaghetti. Right, I keep forgetting. Original concept for the game was going to be more of a or plug it in, shall we? What? What? Terrifying. This is gonna hurt. Oh, there we go. Right, something I should say is that in the prototype build, there's no, dive recovery. In the, later builds of the game, I guess this build onward, there is dive recovery. So that's why I wasn't doing that much diving earlier on in the, other live stream. Here he is, Tim's friend. Fair enough. Says hello, I guess. Still can't actually get in here. It's an unfortunate thing because there's so many. Is that what I think that is? Oh no, it's just a bunny. I thought that was Moonjumper for a minute there. I was gonna be incredibly surprised because, you know, there was no Moonjumper at any point in time. Or I didn't see any concept art of Moonjumper like that. Anyway, you see this guy over here? Milkman Mafia. Yep. In earlier builds, all thanks to Milkman. Without milk 2 times a day, Mafia is nothing. Milk already delivered for the day, but Mafia will need milk later today. Come to me tonight and we can deliver milk. Lovely. Yeah, I spoke to some people about that, a couple of developers about that. They said it was just a cut feature. There's going to be a mission where you give milk to people and then you get a timepiece. In the earlier builds of the game, there were a lot of different kinds of Mafia. Obviously, there's the Milkman Mafia, there's the regular Mafia, Sailor Mafia, which is also seen in the prototype and in the final game. Let me go over here because there's also the Concession Stand Mafia. At least that's what I like to call them. Really have an official name. This is what he looks like. Doesn't talk that much. Just sitting there. Oh, and another thing. Swimming is still enabled in this build of the game, so... there's no water theme, though. In the beta, at least, there's a water theme. And that's obviously available in the the B-sides soundtrack. It's something twinkling. What was that? Nothing. Those are the birds that make fun of you for falling into the water in the prototype. They don't actually say anything in this build. I think he's dead. Or maybe having a seizure. Show the shark? Yeah, I can show the shark. Not even sure if the shark is in the alpha, but it would make sense for him to be. If I go out far enough, I should be attacked by a shark. Which sounds morbid in itself, except this shark's made out of metal. So. Yep, here he comes. This is just gonna circle around me. Yeah, the robot shark. Looks like a lot of the original robot things that are in the beta aren't in the alpha build. At least not in this alpha build. But other than the shark, there was the Mafia bot, which uses the sound effects that are later used for Roomba the Roomba. And then there's the janitor robots. You've got some variation to the birds over here. That's a little attention to detail. And then this guy, you guess who this guy is voiced by?
You know, we rarely see strangers around these parts. We're a bit of a close community, if you catch my drift. We don't let just anyone snoop around, all right? You may have a pretty face, but you ain't got no suit.
Yep, that's JonTron. This version of the Mafia is seen in the final game, I think. Maybe just a slightly different variation of it. Black Market, you never actually get into it anywhere. I think that's because, in the prototype version of the game, this is a DJ Mafia spot. And I guess there's no DJ Mafia in this build or later builds. Kind of just goes unused, it's kind of unfortunate. Yeah, JonTron's receptionist in the final build of the game, but in this version he's just that one random guy. So, in general terms, by the alpha build, Mafia Town looks pretty much like how it looks like in the final version of the game. Obviously there's some placeholder stuff and some changed stuff for different levels. But all in all, it's a lot. This version's much closer to the final version of the game than the prototype was. And, yeah. Obviously, in the prototype, you could get into the cave. This version, you cannot. Let me see if the, what was it, the police mafia here? I'm not sure if they're in this build, or if they're in the beta only. I don't know what these do. Ah, come on. On you. Oh, I guess these are just platforms. Or maybe I plugged them in wrong. One or the other. So yeah, this area is pretty much the same as the final version of the game, other than, you know, added detail, and obviously those aren't there in the final game. And you'll also notice that there's a lot of stuff on the walls here, a lot of different areas. These are all obviously done by Mustache Girl, and this is something not seen in the prototype. This is, well, now belong to Mafia. The graffiti is added in this build of the game. Little Hat Girl leave town. Not a very nice thing, I just got here. Police Mafia. There he is. This is another cut mission. General of Mafia Police Force. We're here to bring order to city. Yes, city in chaos, but Mafia police take care of it. We see people getting bullied. It is cruel. Poor Mafia getting bullied by citizens. Travesty. What? Mafia missing police force. Meeting now, but they not arrive. If little girls see police, tell them to come here, yes? There's 6 force members. Mafia think they're around city, but Mafia not leave Blackboard, or be stolen by cruel citizens. Old man in cafe, he always bully us. We beat him up, but Mafia take no chance with favorite Blackboard. I don't think this is actually implemented. I haven't been able to find any other police Mafia yet. If it's not Mafia, then it's not quality. And if it is Mafia not quality, then you are lying. I check that button? Yeah, sure. Where was it again? I saw it just a second ago. Where was that button? I just saw it. Where'd it go? This button. Here we go. We just fall off the side real quick. Oh, I bet this unlocks Thor's hat. Yep. Now, anyone who's logical would not fall for this. They would not collect that because they'll get their butts lit on fire. It was worth it. Bye. So yeah, unfortunately we don't have the overworld for Chapter 2. It goes on you immediately. Another interesting thing about the prototype is that despite the fact that there's gameplay that obviously requires some sort of inventory system, there is no inventory system. All that there is in the gate menu. So we're just gonna have to have this hat on for the rest of eternity. I don't think it does anything either. See, this guy, there's supposed to be, you know, at least something about him. Well, there's one person that has the prototype for Subcon Forest, or at least had it at one point in time. I'm gonna try contacting him, see if we can get it, because it's like the last thing we need to fully archive the rest of our stuff. But for the meantime, yeah, it's unfortunate. And I'm stuck. Lovely. I can't believe I did that again immediately. There's some footage of it, at least. And obviously we know stuff about it. At this point in time, here's a little something to look at. A Mafia boss was already being developed. So like his concept was fully made. I don't think the Mafia boss fight is this build. Yeah, it can't be because there's no map for it. But it is available in the beta. So whenever we do a beta stream, take a look at that. Let's see, what else is there to show? That's right, there's something over here that I was going to show off. That Mafia just despawned right in front of me. Okay, watermelons. Watermelons were used in the prototype, they're not used in the alpha. there's a little prototype minigame here where there's going to be a Mafia guy on top of the water, and he said that Mafia has great concentration. He can keep water from... and keep himself from going through water or something like that. And there's a golden Mafia eye you'd have to get. Okay, this is something not seen in, I don't think, any other builds. You do it. There we go. Beautiful.
Balloon race at Mafia Town.
Balloon race.
Get ready.
There we go.
Go!
Obviously, this is replaced by beating the race, final version of the game. Oh lord! Oh, that's too fast for me.
Lap 2.
Okay, I see. Yeah, there's no way I was gonna win that. That's one of the other levels that were cut/transformed into a different level later in the game development. It was more creative than cheating the race, but you saw how difficult that was to control. I'm glad that was cut, because it would have just been impossible for most players, myself included. The other thing you'll notice about Mafia Town is that there are TVs just everywhere. I don't know why they're there. They just are, I guess. It looks like this was probably another one of Mustache Girl's hideouts, because this is the ring around where a fire would go. God we trust. True words have never been spoken. I could collect the those things, but I don't want to bother. Okay, if I have the Dweller's Mask, I can get through that. But I don't, so I won't. At least not yet. The shop not open. Shop only purchase rare ancient items. No one's seen the rare items in years. Ancient Riddle says, when balloons invented, look out for balloon in the sky. Riddle is too complicated for Mafia to understand. Little child want with hat to see ancient balloon? Come here. I'm not gonna bother with that. See what these pictures are. Oh, alright. Oh, that's Queen Vanessa's manor. And that would be, that looks like it's on top of a train, so these must be pictures of the different areas. There's Mafia Town, there's Vanessa's manor, there is on top of the train, and these three would obviously be, this one would be for sand and sails, this one, well, well, this would be for sand and sails, and this would probably be for the bookstore slash finale. I'm not sure what this one would be for, though. You know, at this point, I think they were funded enough to have the money for chapters 6 and 7, which are still yet to come out. They should come out later this year, but one of those was probably for the other chapters. So let me think. Is there anything else to show off here? Or should we move on to Vanessa's manor? Oh, you know what? I just remembered. Not an editor, huh? I'm not sure what that means, but maybe I'll try doing it anyway. Do set act 2 and then Restart level and see if that changes anything. Okay, this is the free roaming. Quit act 3. Well, cheats. Quit act. Fingers crossed. See if Act 4 will work. Act 4 should be heating up Mafia Town. Nope, that didn't work. Well. Just no clip around, see what there's to see. Obviously, this is one of the earliest models in the game. We'll use at this point, but you can see the oldness of it. When am I gonna go to the manor? Want me to switch over to the manor? Here, let me go up here to the Mafia headquarters first and show it off. It's a little bit more finished at this point, a little bit more polished. As in, it's not just a big, disgusting conglomeration of stuff. It's actually textured and stuff. Can't go inside of it, unfortunately, because that map's not present in this build. But it is definitely there. So, okay, and this has a giant hunk of meat in it this time instead of just nothing. Lovely. Ooh, there's someone. I can't drink all night. That is meatball wine, 1921. Disgusting. And let me think. If there's anything else to show off, then I'd like to show it off before switching over to Vanessa's manor. But if there's not anything, then well, it is what it is. Another sleeping mafia. Oh, you know what? Thor's place. Because Tim the Time Lord was cut really early on. Some sort of error there. Tim the Time Lord was cut very early on. You would think that Thor would be cut too, but he actually remains up until like the mid to late beta. That's because Thor was going to be used for guess it doesn't do anything. Thor was going to be used a lot with Sand and Sail. He was going to be the one that would construct you the thing that you used to ride around. But obviously when Sand and Sail got changed to Alpine Skyline, he had to go with it. I think that's about it to show for Mafia Town. You can see the lighting's a lot prettier in this build. And if I knew what the problem I was having, the not an editor thing, I would correct that and show off the heating up Mafia Town in this build. Oh, something interesting. There's a Session Mafia over here. Only sell to certain people, huh? By the way, these things here where it says juice bar and stuff, those are some of the earliest models in the game. Mafia Con, 1994. Not a con. You know you want to go. Your wife knows you want to go. Your wife knows you want to go. You tell her no. I don't know what that says. Anyway, let's move on to the more interesting stuff. Queen Vanessa's Manor. I've played this level more than a handful of times. Obviously, it just starts you out in the bottom of the manor. No weapons or anything like the final version of the game. That kid does not have her terrified expression that she has in the final version of the game, unfortunately. I don't know if that's unfortunate or not. There's a little turn of the camera to show off that there's a key needed. Here's something cool that is in the final game. This crack, obviously that's just a cube map. It's not an actual area up there, but it is a cube map for the above room, which is the kitchen. And you can see it when you go up to the kitchen too. If I'm remembering things correctly, yeah, here it is. This is the Queen Vanessa badge. Originally, the wonder what the other two acts were. One of them was, I don't think it was the what's it called? The Toil of Doom. I'm guessing something similar to contractual obligations was in there at some point, because the fire spirits were implemented by the prototype, so probably something to do with the fire spirits. And maybe this is just a wild shot, because I think Subcon Forest honestly probably changed more than the Mafia Town did throughout the game development. But Subcon Forest, at one point in time, I remember seeing some footage. There was one mission where you'd have to save a forest dweller that was frozen in ice, I believe, and that was showcased in the trailer of Subcon Forest. So it could have been that. Anyway, the Queen's Love part, these badges were going to do the same thing that the welcome, Cat Hami. The Queen Vanessa badge was originally going to have the same effect as the Time Stop badge does in the final game. That's like the one thing that we know about it. A lot of hats in the final game were badges in the earlier versions. Okay, so I want to mention that obviously there's a third floor, which isn't seen in the final game, which is seen in the alpha and beta. For some reason, in the alpha version of the game, the third floor is kind of broken in some ways. And when I say it's kind of broken, I mean it works. It works all the way through, but although it does work, there is this weird thing that happens where if you go through a doorway, one specific doorway while facing Shadow Hat Kid, you'll automatically lose. And this is something that I've noticed repeatedly. I'll showcase it, but I just want to mention that. Just take a look at Queen Vanessa as she comes in. Nope, not dealing with that. Oh, that's weird. The music's already like most of the way done. So there's a couple of screenshots I have of Vanessa's Manor somewhere. We're not gonna go through there, by the way, because this is a secret level that we'll look at later. But for the meantime, we'll go on with the regular gameplay. Anyway, what was I saying? Right, there is some footage I have of the first version of Vanessa's Manor, like pre-prototype, and that was a video that Jonas uploaded about just talking about how how they've been greenlit or something. I think it was a greenlit announcement video. Yeah, it must have been that. Anyway, Queen Vanessa's Manor is one of the earliest. Oh lord, he's right there. He's right there. I don't think I've ever seen her go through the door. I think I've only ever seen her go through the other doors. Get out of here. Oh, that's spooky. Oh, that's a sound effect I haven't heard her say before. The door. Open the door, please. Okay, the door's not opening. No, thank you. Right, I almost forgot. I need a key. Almost forgot. The one thing that I need to progress. You can see this is basically the same as the final build of the game. It's just that all these things are more temporary. Instead of being frozen ice, they're kind of just grayed out. See those little prints staring at the moon pictures? If any of you guys remember my most famous video that has 11,000 views. So yeah, you probably know my theory on how the prince was originally the moon jumper. The moon jumper was the original prince, rather. This is something that's in the final game, but you don't use it for anything. Never hide in there. You might be able to notice that most of these textures are a little bit temporary. So I think they are. I had a bit of an accident last week, so today I got crowned as queen. Now the prince can't call me his princess. Life isn't fair. That's terrifying. I really loved this level because, despite the fact that it's barely changed at all, the final version of the game, just by reading all these notes and stuff, you can really tell. It really sets up like the scene for Subcon and how it's supposed to be a really demented sort of. Everyone's a little bit tormented. It's all terrifying. I just love it, and the fact that it was so truncated in the final version of the game is kind of sad, but I understand why the developers did the changes that they did. Mother keeps insisting I be proper. A young lady can do what she wants. Just this morning I had 2 cookies for breakfast. That will show her. I might even have a 3rd. Probably. But yeah, it really... The scene is really made out in Vanessa's Manor because of all these different things you can read. And it's unfortunate that so many things were changed in the final version of the game because there was a lot more to the story. A lot more for the player to find, I guess. Oh, I wish I could just keep him always locked up in chains in the cellar. Can't chain a man though, can you? That... Ugh. Terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. Queen Vanessa was really done right in terms of how spooky and demented she was made to be. And I know they made the Snatcher, the Prince thing, that kind of made up for, or that was kind of supposed to make up for, how they, changed things up and removed the, moon jumper. I've never hidden in here before, so this is my first time doing this. Absolutely terrifying. And you'll notice this shadow right here, this is actually just a texture. It's a texture used to show where she is, and there's no real reason as to why it goes through the wall, but it does. No reason to look deeper into it. And some more stuff that I want to show off in the hallways, which I'm going to have to show off after this next part. As she goes to take a shower. Goes. See, the mafia we were hiding with is now dead. Like, just completely dead. Anyway, I do want to show this off. Well, first I want to show off these. These are the portraits. I believe these are portraits of the different developers. It could be that they're portraits of some people who had the prototype build, but I'm pretty sure they're the developers. I think one of those is Jonas. Might be the one on the far right. I think in... Oh, is it not in this build? Because in the final version... Okay, here it is. I'm sorry about your hair, my prince. I just wanted our lengths to match, and color, and curl. You look wonderful. See, this is what the two of them looked like before, well, he died and she turned into that. Again, you can really tell that this is, that the prince was supposed to be Moonjumper, because Moonjumper has those frails on his shoulders, and he's got that kind of suit. And really just all around, they look the same. But anyway, enough about my theory that I keep talking about. Let's go and get messed up. You know, in the final version of the game, it's harder to see that through this mirror. I mean, in this version, it's just a big blank mirror. It works like a mirror. Key. Sometimes I miss that key and I get killed. Okay, so here we go. Cut third floor. You guys have all seen this already. So if this would have persisted into the final version of the game, obviously at this point you would already have known the Snatcher and the Moonjumper as characters. But obviously, since kid is vampire confirmed. Yeah, it's a first-person thing. Oh, that's interesting. Her eyes are a different color when I look in a spot. Must be because of the little purple hue right here. Huh. Heck, is an alien confirms what she is. But yeah, at this point in time, you have already known Snatcher, you have already known Moonjumper. I think it probably would have went that Hat Kid would have been more on the Moonjumper side, even though he was kind of a mind-controlling dude. So anyway, here's what you're supposed to do for this part. You reconnect those wires by removing all the bean cans. None of that makes... Oh, the soup cans, rather. Nutrition facts. I wouldn't eat this if I were you. Okie doke. And then you plug this back in. That will turn on the TV. I have to press E on the TV. Hey now, no reason to throw a fist at your old buddy, ha 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 ha. Here we go, we've got the man himself. What are you doing up here? Don't you know she'll go mental if she catches you? What, me? I'm just looking for some dirt, my old friend, the Moonjumper. Poor fellow doesn't even know he used to live here. Which, again, that's implications that he was Prince. Every time I bring him something to his place, he almost wets his bed in fear. Ha ha ha, Subcon force isn't big enough for the both of us, you know, and now you little girls trying to enter the fight for the forest. My, that won't do. You need to go up or else he'll catch you and find you. That would be a terrible misfortune if the key disappeared. And this is why this was cut. Well, out of the various reasons. Most of the gameplay reason is why it was cut. It was not fun gameplay-wise. It wasn't fun at all. So he goes in here and he disappears, and you see the key, and you're like, huh, I'm not sure how I'm supposed to get to that. Well, here's what you do. And this wasn't shown off. There was a video by, I'm not sure who it was some other YouTuber who did a video recording of the, at least the beta version of this, I think. What you're supposed to do is you're supposed to press this button, which for some reason lowers the, lowers this. You jump up here, Snatcher Kid takes the key, And this is where things get not so fun. Let me see if he stops in the hallway or if he goes into the other room. Okay, he goes into the other room. So this is supposed to be a puzzle where you're trying to figure out how to make him take enough damage to lose all of his health all at the same time, because he regenerates health really quickly. Here's what I do. I press that first one, then I run in here, and I press a second one, and then I just wait, because when he takes damage, he'll immediately start moving.
The garden looks beautiful tonight. We can go see it together.
Here we go. Lovely jubbly. You chase him. Okay, this is a bug that's only in the alpha, it's not in the beta. But this is something I was talking about, and I'm gonna just show it to you guys. It's gonna force me to have to restart this floor. Right here, if I go through here, and I press both of the things, I go back. I just missed it. Click, click. I messed up. See, this is why it was cut. The gameplay is just atrocious. Him down here, and when he starts running over there, I'll press both of them real quick. Okay, here's the bug, and this happens, I think, every time. Yeah, right there. If I get too close to the, Oh, and it's crashed. Lovely. That's so unstable, this build. Basically, what happens is that when he takes enough damage and drops a key there, if you go through the, I'd like to skip through this opening part here, but I can't. If you go through the, doorway there, then the game will just, the game will kill you for some reason. So, basically what you have to do is you have to go all the way around just so that, you know, you don't die. And I had some trouble with that earlier on when I was working on, episode 2 of Betafied, because I was taking recordings of both the alpha and the beta builds of the game for, the third, level. And when I did the, alpha build, I had that problem several times. It took me forever to record the footage. I think I uploaded the alpha build footage of the third level. Online, that is. The subcon's still my favorite chapter. It is definitely my favorite chapter. I absolutely love just the concept. I love the design. I love how it's just a huge contrast from the rest of the game. How it's all cutesy, but also kind of terrifying in its own way. Definitely my favorite. And bang. Steal a key. Then run as fast as I can, because Jesus Christ. You know, it's a funny thing, in the final build of the game, there's actually a little, second favorite. I'm gonna go cliche and say Mafia Town, just because I've been following the game development since 2012, and Mafia Town was the first one to be made. And there's a lot more to it than what I know. Like, what I know, there's a lot to it. I don't know that much about Chapter 3. I know that originally it was supposed to be Trainwreck of Science, and then at some point in time, when it was becoming Battle of the Birds and less Trainwreck of Science, there was still a lot of different stuff to it. Like, if you watch the trailer for it, there's actually a part where the train lands on the moon somehow, and I've got no idea what that could be. So I'd say my second favorite's Mafia Town. I don't know, if I still had the old development videos from, like, 2012, stuff like the watch her go into that room over there. If we still had stuff like the UDK game videos and just the test videos working on various things that never made it into the final game, maybe it would still be my favorite, but for the most part, this takes the cake. Anyway, I think she's out of this room. Yep, there she is. I'm gonna try to speed this as fast as I can because obviously crashing isn't a fun thing. Yeah, last bird standing. Like how Chapter 1 was originally called Down with the Mafia, but Chapter 2 was always called Subcon Forest. Something worth noting. Also, I think the development for Subcon Force is a lot more peculiar than the final version, than Mafia Town, because Mafia Town all built itself basically around the same layout. Like, once the layout was made, it was set. But, that's interesting. See that? That was the, cobwebs just fell down. But yeah. One thing worth noting is that, if you see the old prototype trailer for Mafia Town, or not Mafia Town, Subcon Forest, and you see the old trailer for, the old gameplay footage from Jonas, that's this other guy named, I think his name was Daniel Hop. He uploaded it, and I can't believe that guy still had that footage, but I'm so grateful because the footage has commentary by Jonas. In the current game, Down with the Mafia is the name of Act 4. Yeah, it was originally the name of the entire chapter. Okay, where does he go? Because there are two spots where Shadow Hat Kid will stop there. He'll either stop out here in the hallway, he'll just stop and wait for you, or he'll go into that room. What I want him to do is go into this room because I can do this. Yeah, I'm glad this was cut. Maybe not the part with the actual storyline, but I'm glad that the gameplay was cut because this gameplay is awful. Hopefully I won't die or crash this time. Go through. Click, go all the way back through. And now I can't go through that doorway. If I go through that doorway, I will die. Don't know why it's like that. Whatever. Go around. Go all the way back around again because a good chance I'll still die if I go through that doorway. If you heard what Queen Vanessa just said, that entire line, that is broken in the final game. For some reason, she isn't able to say the entire thing. Well, she says it in this version. We'll go over here and go off Queen Vanessa's... probably Queen Vanessa's room. It's never actually said for sure. There's some cheese hiding behind the wall. Never open, stay out, turn around, all these different locks and stuff. Maybe I should just contact Jonas and ask him what this was, because I'm assuming... I used to assume that this was Queen Vanessa's bedroom, but obviously that's not the case, because Queen Vanessa's bedroom is downstairs. This could be the prince's bedroom, or it could also be the prince's room where he goes and looks at the sky. I don't know what those rooms are called. Can't remember. Of course, then again, I think the attic is what he used that for. So, I don't know. Can't remember if I can just go here. Yeah. And then Queen Vanessa spawns. Let me show her off. Hello. Now, Queen Vanessa is tricky here because she'll actually check both rooms, I think. Either that or it's random which room she checks, but she goes towards the door itself. Nope, 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 nope. Nope. See, she does that sometimes. Sometimes she'll go in here and she'll go into this door. And sometimes she'll just check through this door, then go back. I'm just gonna run. No bother. Stay away from that. Not sure if that'll still kill me. Maybe it's Timmy's room? I didn't realize that the Discord didn't like Timmy. Because I didn't really have anything wrong with him. There was actually a temporary Timmy model which used a Hat Kid as a placeholder. Or it used Hat Kid's assets, but it was like a Timmy suit. Timmy suit. So originally, this is where you'd get the mask. There you go. If you look at the wall there, we've got the moon jumper. Somebody posted about this on Reddit earlier today. They posted about how the moon jumper's face is here. Yep. This is like the last remaining remnant of him in the final game, unfortunately. That and, you know, his corpse in the bottom of the place. In the final game, this is where we get the timepiece. In this game, or in this build, where we get the mask. Is the Easter egg here? Yeah, this is a little reference to Psychonauts. Great game. Love Psychonauts. Have not finished it yet. We'll have to get to it. And obviously you can't go back downstairs. There's no way of taking this off of my face, by the way. It's stuck to my face. You're not going to see Hat Kid's face again for the rest of this playthrough. Observatory, that's what I was looking for the name. This was probably Moonjumper's Observatory. If you remember in the Moonjumper episode, I found some old concept art. I have no idea how I managed to find that, but there was concept art of an observatory that had a telescope and stuff. It looks kind of like here, just with less windows, but obviously there's still a lot of different windows that you can see outside with. So, you know, just part of the theory. I think subcon caves are also in the field. Oh, maybe not. Send me back. That's right, I forgot about this part.
Thanks. See you tomorrow.
Pet adult. Now, what I want to say about this is that I'm pretty sure this wasn't actually going to be used in the final game. I think Hat Adult was just going to be a, was just a placeholder, or maybe a cut concept with a whole time travel thing. Obviously, she's not in the final game. Well, her model and stuff is, because, you know, these devs are awesome and they left in most of their cut content. You notice this is sort of a Victorian era place. It's just weird to look at because it looks like it's straight out of Victorian era London. The important part of this is something that is kind of kept around the final game. Notice how the bookstore is called Time's End. Now, Time's End is the name of the final boss. Or maybe just the final chapter, rather. And the whole clock towers beneath the sea and stuff, there are clock towers everywhere here. We've got the moon up there. Yeah, this is definitely Victorian era because there's all this black smoke being pumped out of these buildings. I've not seen what this says. Oh, it just says closed. I think I've no-clipped around here before and didn't see anything, but might as well. No, she has very primitive animations, this model. Just a standing animation and a walking animation. Oh, another thing. Let me get to a good spot where I can show them. Look at those lips. Ugh. Had Adult looked good in the concept art, not in the model form. Another reason why I'm glad she was cut. Well, she being adult version of Hat Kid. These trees, I'm just gonna assume, these trees are probably taken from the Subcon Forest. And, you know, so they've got a little bit of a purple outline tint, which might just be the lighting, but a lot of the trees in Subcon Forest have that. At least in the final game they do. You can notice a very interesting contrast here. You'll notice that things just cut off from the sort of industrial era just straight to a forest, which I'm guessing it's just supposed to be a forest in a city, but no, it's something interesting to note how things change that quickly. Now, this theme was not done by Pascal Michael Stifel, or is that how to pronounce his name? I don't know how to pronounce his name properly. So obviously the way that you end is you go up here and you look at the books. So this theme, I didn't even realize who this was made by, but I believe it says in the a guy named MP2 did the bookstore theme. Now this theme is actually called something completely different. It's called Hat in Time _ Hat Adult _ Masked Song. Or at least I thought it was called Subcon. Oh, you know what? That's the name from a website that I was on. Give me just a second. I can find the name of the the Subcon Forest _ Masked .org, which implies that this is the theme you would hear while you're in the Subcon Forest and you have a mask on, like the Subcon mask in general. Which, another thing to note is the music. It's hard to tell because the theme is so rare, but we do have the old version of Subcon Forest's theme, at least one of them, the one that was made by Eric Gleiser. We have that version of the theme, and if you listen to it, yeah, I'm gonna stream the beta later, not today, but some other day maybe. If you listen to the beta version, or not the beta version, the prototype version of the Subcon Forest's theme, it sounds kind of like this version, which is something interesting to note. Let me go ahead go find it, because I actually have it. I'll just let you guys listen to this. This is Eric Gleiser's version of the theme. Okay, that was the version that was done by Eric Leiser, and this is the bookstore theme by NB2. Obviously you're hearing it. There's a specific part which makes me think that the two were probably made around the same point in time, and why I think that the two of them are probably related. Well, other than the obvious parts of the Depths of a Dark Forest was done specifically for the Subcon Forest, and the other one is called Subcon Forest _ Masked theme or whatever in the files. There's something to notice. See if I can get to this part. Okay, listen to this part. So you hear that part, and let's see if I can get to it. You can hear those two parts are exactly the same. It's the da 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 da. That part is the same in both the bookstore theme and the Subcon theme. So I think it's an interesting thing because obviously there's no use of Eric Leiser's stuff in any of the released content. There's no in the soundtrack and the B-side soundtrack. There's none of that. But the Alpha Bookstore theme has been released for the B-side soundtrack, and despite the fact that there's no Eric Leiser, because it was done by someone else and it's used in a playable build that people had, you can hear Eric Leiser's work, kind of. I just thought that's an interesting thing. And answering your question, do I prefer the version made by Eric or the version made by Pascal? I'm gonna have to say Pascal because just the intensity of the da 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 that part, it's just, I think it fits Subcon a lot better than da 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 da. That version that was done by Eric. Oh, you know what? I have a buzzing on my microphone again. So I'm gonna pause the stream real quick. Fix that. Testing, can you guys hear me? Hello? Alright, we're back. Yeah, my microphone, it does that. And there's no way of me telling unless I go into Audacity and record myself for a minute just to see if it's there. Go into Audacity and it's back again. Great. Yeah, I'm gonna pause it one more time just so I can fix my microphone. Hopefully it's better now. Alright, so it's not buzzing right now. Could start in a few minutes. It doesn't, it could always start. It could. But for the meantime, let's get back to the actual gameplay. And I can't hear anything. Alright, we'll have to exit the game and restart it so actually get some audio. Obviously, I'm going to be talking about that stuff when I make episode 3 of Betafied later on when I do that. So, let's see, we've got Mafia Town, we've got Queen Vanessa. Oh, that's an interesting thing. It says that there's 2. Oh, you know what? I know what that is. The hidden thing that I was showing off earlier. I hope my mic wasn't buzzing like that for a long time. Oh, and also here's the, obviously, the prints, or the imprint made by his remains. Ooh, you can notice that there's nails in the sides, implying it was kind of just strapped up everywhere and just nailed for added effect. Ugh. Terrifying. And the final version of the game, you can actually skip the entirety of Queen Vanessa's manor. Like there's a little spot that's behind one of the barrels that if you just go through it, you get the entire thing. Okay, let me show you some of the early hidden levels. This is one of the bonus levels. Theme from the upstairs. And obviously this is reused in the final game, or is this used in the final? I'm not even sure because the plant enemies over there are not used in the final game. This is in the alpha, this is in the prototype, the alpha and the beta, this level. Can't attack them because I don't have my weapon. Yeah, you can notice that they're kind of broken, they're not attacking or anything. These were enemies that were gonna appear in the, obviously in the Subcon Forest. Okay, so they can attack a little bit. Their attacks are very broken. Notice most of the time this plant's not doing any damage to me. That chomping attack doesn't do any damage. Those lasers that they're shooting at me doesn't do any damage. Okay, that does damage. Okay, so the lasers do damage if I get really close to them. But in general, they're broken. And I am dead. Lovely. Yeah, this is in the prototype, the alpha and the beta. Like I said, since the mask is now stuck on me, like I can't take it off. I might as well mention that when looking at the mask, it will change. The eyes will change colors depending on what you're near. So when there are enemies that you're fighting, the eyes will turn red. And obviously, when it detects something that either has to make visible or make invisible, they go green. I think they also go yellow sometimes, but I can't remember. Ow. But yeah, these guys are really basically not a danger at all. And I think in the prototype, they don't even have any attacks. They are in the prototype, though. Yeah, see how my eyes are red now? They glow different colors with different things. Yeah, I think the prototype, they only have an idle animation. Not sure what this green... Oh. I'm charging up his laser, I guess. I don't know what the command is for giving myself a weapon. Yeah, I go to the market in the Mafia town with a mask. There's a little spot where I can, I think, probably get into another secret level. Because these are all secret levels. They're things that the alpha holders had to find themselves. Unlike the prototype guys, we're just giving them a silver platter. How long was my mic buzzing, by the way? Because sometimes it can go like that for a really long time without me even knowing. We've been streaming for, well, now it says 6 minutes, but it's been well over an hour. Yeah, but how long was it buzzing earlier? Like, was it buzzing for a while, or was it just, like, there? Yeah, there are a couple of things hidden in Mafia Town, too. Okay, yeah, when you're near stuff that you can interact with, the eyes go yellow. When there's hidden stuff, the eyes go green. And when you're fighting something, the eyes go red. Would have been cool to see that in the final game, but I know that the whole thing with the masks being different than actual hats was done. Still can't shoot that. Or I still can't play that shooting game. Wonder what the shooting game thing was, because obviously you'd need like a slingshot or something, right? At least 5 minutes? Yeah. Sorry. I need to get a new microphone. The microphone I'm using is just in my headset, and this headset is like, I don't know, 3 years old, 4 years old. Even then, it was the cheapest headset I could find at the time, so it's already not good. It used to not buzz like that, but such is life, right? Here we've got Mustache Girl's Cave with an Electro badge. Can't remember what the Electro badge did for sure. I can assure you it definitely did something. I'll maybe look it up after the stream. I would be surprised if it was an actual gun. Because I know there are a lot of jokes about Hat Kid giving Hat Kid a gun, but an actual Tommy gun, I would be surprised. It would have had something to do with the detective. The detective was a cut character that never even got a model. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if the detective would play into it. Either the detective or Thor. Thor could totally play into it. See, where's the marketplace? Did I already go by the marketplace? I think I already went by the marketplace. Got off. Like, you can see why the Electro badge was cut then, because it was way too overpowered. Come and have a go if you think you're hard enough. I'm not hard enough, I'm a little wimp. Yeah, disappearing mafia. Is there new technology? Which reminds me, I wonder if Thor was like a mafia character, because obviously he lives in Mafia Town and he made the mafia bots. Hard to say whether he was like a member of Mafia or not. Okay, so this, I believe, is another secret level. Yep. This is also in the prototype build. You've also noticed this version of the You're Safe Now theme is a little bit different because it doesn't have the strings. Because the final version of this song has the has strings to it, like a string part. Oh yeah, this entire thing's used in the final game. It's just colored differently. Oh no, there's the strings. Right, they come up later in the song then. Or maybe not, because if I remember correctly, in the final game, when you hear this song in-game, it's got stronger strings to it, but... Yeah, the control is awful without the wall running. I agree with that completely. There is one more hidden map, I believe. Let me just find it in the game files. I don't want to bother with looking for it. Is Do I know anything about the detective character? He was cut really, really early, so there's not much to know about him. There are a couple of pictures of pre-prototype, like a couple of months into development builds before there was even a new mustache girl model where there was like a temporary mustache girl detective character who was just a goofy character, but nothing like worthwhile. Level, oh. Okay, yeah, this is the third one. This is also seen in the prototype, obviously. Hold on, let me move a couple things out of the way. Yeah, detective isn't used for much of anything. Or detective wasn't a character that existed for very long. This is, I believe, was either used somewhere in the hub or it was timepiece that was in chapter 4 in the final game. Oh, you know what? No, this is used in Subcon. I think, I'm not sure. This is either used in Subcon or chapter 4 in the final game. You'll notice that for these special levels, specifically, there's a lot of change in the design. Like, originally, things were supposed to be a lot more playful and colorful, and the final one, they're more like frozen, peaceful. I guess the design choice was just, alright, it looks more aesthetically pleasing if you make it all white and blue instead of all these bright colors, which maybe if they were to have kept this design, but change these things up so they weren't just solid colors, they're maybe like modeled to look like blocks or something. Pretty cool. I think that does it for regular maps, levels. Let's take a look at some other stuff. Debug room. This is the debug room. Okay, this is just a debug room that's used for various stuff. I believe if I click these, it'll start playing music. Yeah. Lovely. Get the Electro badge. Okay, if I know the different spawn codes for different NPCs, I can test these out, but unfortunately I don't. Can't. Or I won't. To spawn Thor, Tim, and Moonjumper in this build. I tried spawning Moonjumper in the alpha build a while back, and it said that I could, but like he wasn't appearing physically. I could try again anyway. Thor and Tim, I'm not sure. It probably just works the same way the initial build of the game worked. But let me try something really quick. There was something that I was told about from Discord user. Up Discord really quick. And you guys will appreciate this if you've seen Beta Fight Episode 2. Who was it? Here we go. Oh, maybe it wasn't him. Maybe it was this person. Somebody knows how to and there are these things. Definitely told from someone how to spawn liberalism. Talking about Cat Kid eats everything she collects. Yeah. Who was the person? There was a person somewhere who told me how to spawn in the force trap somewhere that I can. Hmm. Because I was told from somebody who messaged me how to get in. It might have been UTUP. Was it UTUP? It wasn't. It was a summon command. To check a couple of my different private messages and see if it's up. Here we go. Huh. Let's see if I can spawn that flat instead of sideways. Yeah, so it's the Snatcher Trap. Yeah, the early version of the Snatcher Trap you can actually spawn. Really cool. It plays a theme that was done by Eric Gleiser. And obviously we're trapped inside of it, hence the name. Well, okay, we would be if it weren't for the fact that this is slightly above the... Well, I think that they probably would be cool if you had some sort of visualizer like you do in the final game. Maybe if they weren't flooded all over the place, it would be kind of cool. Actually not sure if those are in the beta. It'd be cool if those are in the beta and they have like textures and everything. Ironic that this is a music test map because all the music's completely broken. I think that's about it. Unless... the map that is in the files in the final game, it's not used for anything. The giant brush hat. Very low poly giant brush hat. I remember, I think I was told that these exist as whether things can spawn, I'm not sure. Unfortunately, there's no list or anything. I'm not even sure how someone managed to find the natural traps to begin with. I think I remember being told that this map was part of a contest or something that never finished. I could be completely wrong about that, though. That's kind of cool. I mean, it shows that was going to be. This is a place where you appear after you die. You'll be forced to live there. Am I forced to an endless lifetime of a hat in the abyss? I think that's about all there is to showcase. So I'd like to thank you guys all for joining in on the stream. And I'll probably let you guys know by Twitter and by Instagram and maybe by Discord when I do a stream for the beta. So until then, thank you guys for watching. See y'all next time.